Too many.
It's fine. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you.
Think again. For weeks, the public has been obsessed with this story frame by frame, rumor by rumor, like they're watching a real-life crime documentary unfold. It all began when alarms echoed through Utah Valley University. But what came after, no one could have imagined. A short, shaky clip, blurry, trembling, filmed on a student's phone. Just a few seconds long, yet enough to turn the entire story upside down. Because what it showed didn't just raise questions, it shattered the narrative completely. Now, the focus isn't just on the incident itself, but on everything leading up to it. The way a security guard pushed his glasses higher. The way the team moved, almost like they already knew what was coming. And then that silence. That eerie, heavy silence before everything broke loose. Too many coincidences. 5 moments, 5 signs. Maybe that's too many, right? But let me tell you something. You've probably seen the new Charlie Kirk footage making rounds online. Yet, if you think you know what really happened that day, think again. Because the truth behind those few seconds might just change everything you thought you knew. Frame by frame, rumor by rumor, piece by piece, ever since the alarm sounded outside Utah Valley University. Yet no one, not even the most relentless truth seekers, could have anticipated what happened next. A short, grainy, trembling clip, likely shot on a student's phone. But what it revealed made everyone question everything they thought they knew. Because now, just like Scalded Peacock, the story wasn't merely about the incident itself. It was about the seconds before. The way a security guard adjusted his glasses with unusual precision. The way the group moved, almost as if they had been warned in advance. And then, the unnatural calm that blanketed the space. That eerie silence just moments before order collapsed into chaos. It's insane. It's wrong. It's absurd. Someone is trying to sell a completely unfounded story linking Israel to Charlie Kirk. It sounds ridiculous. Yet it's precisely that absurdity that has the public fired up more than ever. Because right now, people don't need proof. They need a narrative that fits their fears. And the newly released footage delivers exactly that. Millions flock to Turning Point USA events, from campus talks to controversial free speech tours where a single question can spiral into chaos. The unmistakable Charlie Kirk brand, debate as weapon, conflict as spectacle, crowd emotion as fuel. September 10th, 2025. Utah Valley University. Over 3,000 students packed into the auditorium. The air thick with curiosity, dissent, and an almost tangible electricity. Even before entering, you could feel it, tension coiling in the shouts, the raised signs, the vigilant eyes of police scrutinizing every detail, as if anticipating something catastrophic. Everyone knew this was far from normal. Warnings had been issued, some spoken aloud, others whispered. Yet Charlie's team pressed on, convinced that open dialogue was the only path to ease division. No barriers. No protective glass. No distance between speaker and audience. Bold. Courageous. And perhaps a decision history would scrutinize. The Schaefer security team was on site, a name synonymous with Charlie Kirk's major events. But what shocked everyone was their last-minute arrival after the original team mysteriously withdrew without explanation. 6 campus officers, 2 coordinators, and virtually no formal coordination with local law enforcement. No surveillance drones. No roof sweeps. No protective glass. Even the crowd barriers seemed borrowed from a small fair, not the scale of an event hosting 3,000 people. As clips from that day circulated online, it became clear just how fragile the security setup was. It didn't feel safe, one student admitted later. It was like we were all waiting for something to happen, but nobody knew what. Experts had predicted the risks. Chris Herzog, who once protected Kim Kardashian, told me months ago, when serious warnings exist, you can't just stand there on an open stage like nothing's wrong. That's not bravery. That's reckless. But Charlie's team didn't see it that way. To them, this wasn't carelessness, it was conviction. They wanted him to stand unshielded, approachable, fearless, face to face with the public. They wanted people to see his strength not through glass or armor, but through his eyes, his words, his presence. In a time defined by division, they believed that raw courage could heal. And so, they took the risk. Now, that decision is being dissected frame by frame. Once the video leaked, every second of that afternoon turned into evidence, studied, paused, magnified, like a true crime documentary. Those who were inside said the air itself seemed to freeze. A feeling no one could quite explain, as if the entire room had sensed something coming, something that would soon dominate headlines across the nation. 12:23 p.m. Mountain Time. Charlie was mid-sentence, speaking about violence in communities, about saving the next generation through education, when a sound cut through the air. Sharp. Sudden. For a split second, people thought it was feedback from the mic. Some laughed nervously, others turned their heads. But within seconds, confusion turned to panic. Chairs toppled. Screams broke out. Footsteps pounded toward the exits. No one knew what had happened, only that something had gone terribly wrong. Those who were there remember one feeling, pure shock. Those who watched the footage later said that moment haunted them, a few seconds where time seemed to stop. Charlie's head of security, Dan Flood, was the first to move. On the right side of the stage, he's seen rushing forward, signaling his team, guiding people to safety. The crowd was chaos, but his response, cold, calculated, and precise. That's why people call him a silent shield. Now, the question isn't just what happened, it's why. How did an event of this size, with thousands present and multiple warnings, unfold with such fragile security? And why did the original protection team withdraw just days before? Some dismiss it as coincidence. Others insist there's a hidden hand, crafting the perfect storm, the perfect spectacle. Something so dramatic, so mysterious, that the public may never truly know what was real, and what was made to look that way.
Charlie.
When you watch the video, there is a moment near the end. The camera shakes, the lights dim, and in that moment, you can see clearly. No one...
Near the end, everything blurs. The camera trembles, the lights dim, and in that moment, clarity strikes. No one in that room truly grasped what had just happened. What followed wasn't peace, it was silence. The kind that leaves more questions than answers. He rushed forward, caught Charlie midair, shielding him with his body before guiding him off stage as panic swallowed the room. "Charlie! Stop, Charlie!" a voice shouted over the chaos, cutting through the screams and confusion. Within just 25 seconds, they vanished behind the curtains. No stretchers. No medical teams. No sirens. Only raw, unedited panic, phones ringing, people crying, security shouting over the roar of a terrified crowd. But when the footage was replayed later, something felt off. Every motion too precise, too smooth. There was no jerky panic, no genuine shock. Just a fluid series of movements, grabbing, shielding, moving as if rehearsed. As if they already knew. Some even said it looked more like a stage run-through than a real emergency. That's what sent the internet spiraling. Millions began dissecting every second, every frame. On the left of the stage, a man tapped his sunglasses. Seconds later, another raised his hand in a strange gesture, not during the chaos, but moments before. At first, it seemed harmless. Maybe he was fixing his glasses. Maybe the lights were too bright. Maybe it was nothing. But the more people zoomed in, slowed down, annotated, and reanalyzed, the more that nothing turned into something. That tiny gesture became symbolic, a hidden signal missed by everyone in the room. A silent warning, seconds before everything fell apart. The new clip, short, shaky, and slightly blurred, somehow felt more real than any official footage. And it reignited the oldest question of all, was it chaos or choreography? Every repost fueled more speculation. Why were they moving in sync? Why did no one look surprised? And what was that signal just before it began? No one had clear answers. But those questions transformed a brief, confusing incident into a viral legend, where every blink, every twitch, and every pause became potential evidence. It was a silence that didn't calm anyone, it unsettled them. The kind of silence that makes you listen harder and imagine darker truths. And then, as silence often does, it became a trigger. Suddenly, every missing file turned into proof. Every withheld statement became a supposed cover-up. The digital world caught fire. Old transcripts, buried interviews, even past remarks from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu began resurfacing online, spreading faster than anyone could contain.
It is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder.
International media headlines exploded. Social media went into overdrive. Just a few lines claiming Charlie Kirk as a friend of Israel were enough to pour gasoline onto an already raging fire. The entire digital space seemed to lose control overnight. Theories, diagrams, exclusive sources, everything appeared like dominoes falling in a chain. From foreign donors to tech deals to rumored AI surveillance contracts, every new fact made the story more absurd. It was no longer a quest for truth. It had become a storm of chaos masquerading as reason. Half-truths blended with wild speculation, forming a web of rumors no one could untangle. But the real problem wasn't the fake news. It was the void, the silence left by the government and its agencies. When institutions remain silent too long, even the most improbable stories start sounding plausible. And when the public feels abandoned in the dark, imagination becomes the guiding light, capable of pointing anywhere, in any direction. One part of that day still haunts skeptics. Kirk's team reacted almost instantly after the incident. Too fast, some argued, to be natural. They didn't wait for medics. They didn't call for assistance. They simply moved, covered him, and disappeared behind the stage. Moments later, a black SUV appeared at the service exit. Charlie was loaded inside, and the vehicle sped off, destination unknown. To many, it was emergency protocol. To others, it looked rehearsed, no stretchers, no flashing lights, no security returning to the stage. Everything executed with a frightening precision. From a distance, footage shows the crowd still screaming, while the service door quietly closes behind them. That wordless disappearance became the most suspicious image of the day. "We just saw him vanish," one student admitted. From then on, only questions remained. Questions without answers. Silence returned, a silence that made the world listen harder, imagine deeper, fear darker possibilities. "Hey, stop. Stop, everyone," a voice echoes through the recording, trembling, yet trying to stay calm. 5 miles away, no sirens, no ambulances. Just a chaotic convoy racing toward Tempanogo's regional hospital. Experts called it reckless. In emergencies, every second counts. Every bump, every pothole could worsen injuries. And yet, the decision stood. Why? Pure panic or a calculated attempt to control the story before it played out publicly? That's the question lingering longest. Why wasn't medical help called immediately? Why, in a crowd of thousands, did no one capture the scene clearly? Clips that did emerge only deepened the mystery. Black SUVs speeding away, whispered instructions to move to private facilities, yet no solid evidence. Only fragmented accounts, grainy footage, and endless questions. Within hours, the nation split. One camp claimed it was an accident, a panicked choice. The other insisted it was staged, a spectacle spiraling out of control, perhaps with a hidden political motive. Podcasts, talk shows, and commentary channels erupted. Analysts argued, was Kirk's security avoiding media attention? Or was someone giving direct orders to clear the scene immediately? Whatever the reason, the effect was the same: trust fractured. The story became more than a speech, it was a test of morality, of truth, of perception. From a lost moment 5 meters away, 100 theories arose. From a minute of silence, 1,000 voices shouted. And in the end, the scariest part wasn't the event itself, but the sense that it may have been decided before it even began. Every frame analyzed, every lost file hunted, every fleeting glance, subtle shoulder shift, even a measured breath turned into potential evidence. Each pause a clue. Then there were the rational voices, the pragmatic observers. To them, this was tragedy, a series of missteps amplified by poor planning and an internet addicted to emotion and skepticism.
It wasn't random. It was scheduled.
He set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
Really.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. And I was almost going to be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like, it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. There was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn.
They say there was no conspiracy, just poor planning, weak security, and a digital world desperate to twist every minor detail into a dark secret. But instead of clearing the air, the authorities made it murkier. Prosecutors quietly reopened the timeline, questioned security staff, and re-examined every frame of the leaked video. Sources claimed they even demanded the university restore deleted data from its servers. And still, no official statement. No regular updates. Just silence, feeding the growing distrust. Even the FBI stepped in, warning of digital manipulation and promising to verify the footage's authenticity, only to later refuse to confirm if it was real. That half-answer said everything and nothing at once. People asked, if there's nothing to hide, why not just say it? Soon every denial sounded scripted, every press release rehearsed. Public trust cracked. People stopped believing words and started believing screens. Because in this era, doubt travels faster than truth. Weeks passed, and the noise never stopped. Hundreds of analysis videos poured in daily, from small creators to primetime talk shows. Everyone had proof. Everyone had theories. Every angle, every reflection, every blink slowed, zoomed, and dissected until exhaustion. Some swore they saw an extra hand. Others, a flicker of light that shouldn't exist. The debate shifted from the footage itself to something much bigger: who decides what's real? Media psychologists called it false frame syndrome, the belief that if you slow a video enough, the hidden truth will appear. But the irony is brutal. The closer people look, the further they drift from reality. In a world where everyone believes they're investigating, the only thing left to do is stop. That one clip, less than a minute long, has become a monument to skepticism, a loop society can't stop replaying, searching for answers that may not exist. Because now, the question isn't whether the video is real, it's whether anything is. The issue isn't the footage, it's what it means for a country that no longer trusts its own eyes. Maybe the video doesn't prove anything tangible. It's not evidence of a hidden agenda or some covert operation. But what it exposes, even for a few seconds, is far deeper: the collapse of trust. Listen carefully. Some claim the story itself isn't completely accurate, and they might be right. Nobody has the full picture. Nobody truly knows what unfolded behind the curtain that day. Maybe it wasn't a cover-up at all. Maybe it was an attempt to contain chaos before it spread. But to the public, that difference no longer matters. Because in this age, truth doesn't have to be false to lose credibility, it just has to be repeated too many times. We've seen scandals. We've heard promises. We've watched press conferences rehearsed to perfection. Lies dressed as facts. Truth buried beneath headlines. But this time, it feels different. This time, people aren't just suspicious, They're certain that someone knows something and isn't saying it. That's the chilling part. It's not loud outrage, it's quiet disbelief. The kind that doesn't scream but shakes foundations. A cold realization that maybe, just maybe, we're living through a story whose ending no one is allowed to tell. The new Charlie Kirk footage, whether authentic, edited, or pure coincidence, has done what few could imagine. It's changed how an entire nation sees truth itself. People aren't asking what happened anymore. They're asking who controls what we believe. Because once truth can be rewritten, everything becomes fragile. Institutions tremble. Media loses its authority. And when the next video surfaces, will we have the courage to look or just the instinct to doubt? Maybe when that moment comes, we'll be ready. Calm, clear-eyed, ready to face what no one wants to believe. The Charlie Kirk video isn't just a controversy, it's a mirror showing how modern society has lost faith in its own sight. The real question isn't whether the footage is real or fake, but what it reveals about us. In this age of endless images, what vanishes first isn't fact, it's belief. Because when people stop believing what they see, the world stops being shaped by truth and starts being ruled by interpretation. It only needs to exist in one environment, one where everyone sees it through a different lens. Every frame, every silence, every tiny movement turns into evidence. And when that happens, truth stops being truth. It becomes fluid, something shaped not by reason, but by emotion. We've grown used to believing what feels right, not what is right. And that's the real danger. Because once truth becomes a matter of comfort, it stops being truth at all. The Charlie Kirk episode might just be one story, but it marks a shift, a point where truth itself became subjective. No longer something we seek, but something we build, through perspective, through emotion, through invisible algorithms quietly rewriting our beliefs. So maybe the real question isn't who was right, but why we believed so quickly. Not who is hiding the truth, but why we stopped demanding it. In this age, where everyone holds a microphone, a camera, and a platform, staying sober-minded isn't just a choice, it's a duty. If you're watching this right now, pause. Don't follow the crowd. Don't share what you don't understand. Ask yourself, what makes you believe, and what makes you doubt? Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't the lie itself. It's when no one knows what the truth is anymore. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What's really happening behind the scenes? Are we witnessing an isolated event or a test of national belief? If you still believe the truth deserves to be seen clearly, like this video, share it, and subscribe, because in a world full of noise, the most powerful voice isn't the loudest one. It's the most honest.